live session. So we're going to be looking at a bunch of things around the earnings reports that we've been writing about for the last few days, a bunch of companies that we talked about. Um, if you're a sophisticated investor, a professional investor, a job is basically to find these dislocations, or you could say mispricings that happen, and essentially make use of that. Where basically the market action fundamentally contradicts kind of reality that you see. So that is where the real value lies for a sophisticated or professional investor. Now, with that being said, this week we've got two major contradictions. One is the fact that interest rates, I call the network of central banks as the sort of control room, because they're like basically changing interest rates to stimulate or restrict money flows, essentially. The other side of this is basically the historic valuations that the stock markets have had. So with that, what we're going to also talk about is to hedge some of this. I call it almost like a great decoupling, which is taking place currently. And with that, we will look at, for the next few minutes, we'll look at how the control room is kind of diverging across various jurisdictions. And it's not the same sort of process being used everywhere. So that creates opportunities. Then we'll talk about the actual factory floor and how it is kind of fragile and why you should be aware of that. So in a factory floor, you always have inventory coming in, and then there is offtake on the other side. Now, what is happening in that is something that we'll be talking about. And then the kind of structural hedges that are possible currently and why investing in that is the right method going forward. But more importantly, our strategy is now available to retail investors. There is a link that's available in the most recent post that I sent out around the world, except for US and Canada. You can invest in our strategy directly. Secondly, for sophisticated professional investors, get in touch with us and we can take you through the investment process into our fund. And then we are also going either for a stock listing for our fund, so basically a Frankfurt listing, or otherwise we are looking at launching this as an institutional fund. So both things being explored at the moment. So watch the space for more information. Going into the kind of details right now, first of all, looking at the control room itself, the Fed is pretty much playing catch up right now. And particularly because of this government shutdown, there is very limited information at hand. So as I said, the markets have been flying blind. So the Fed is also restricted in what they can do. But then you have essentially a softening labor market. Employment growth is kind of slowing down. But based on that, is there a need to ease liquidity? Now, looking at what is happening in Europe, both the ECB as well as the Bank of England have been on an easing mode since last year. Literally started last year. So this is kind of supported by inflation that is somewhere close to the target. Don't ask me if